Vauxhall could leave the UK. Ford could leave the UK. It's not very good, is it? No. Jobs will be lost. I mean, listen next. Well, unless the UK starts investing in manufacturing plants and what have you for EV batteries, we will most certainly see these companies leave because of rules of origin. Now, I have talked about rules of origin before, but they're actually saying it now. Vauxhall are actually pretty much saying, well, if something doesn't change, we are going to go. Also manufacturing, well, in the EU instead. So it's a bit, it's a bit worrying, isn't it, for the people who've got jobs and what have you in these places. So post-Brexit tariffs and EV delays could cost UK car industry over 100 billion. This is an article in City AM. And failure to bolster the supply chains for electric cars, coupled with the looming post-Brexit tariffs, don't forget that as well, stuff coming into the UK are going to have tariffs on, could cost the UK's car industry over 100 billion in growth. And that's a leading industry group, has been, sounding the alarm. So a potential tenfold increase in the production of electric cars worth 106 billion is at stake. Yeah. According to a new report from the Society of Motor Manufacturers, Traders. Now, there's lots of things changing in the car industry in the UK. It's not just the fact whether or not we're actually going to have a car industry, it's about the way cars are going to be sold in the UK. There's already certain car manufacturers who are, the car dealerships are, they're shutting down. Not because they've stopped selling cars, but because the way they sell cars is changing. It's all going to be done online. You're not going to get to sit in the car. No. They don't want to have the stock sitting there. You see, with import charges and tariffs and stuff like that, if they have stock, they've got to prepay all that stock. Yeah, they bring stuff into the country, and there's going to be huge amounts of tariffs. So car manufacturers are looking at ways how to save money so they can still supply vehicles and still make money. Just not necessarily being made in the UK anymore. Because the bigger market is obviously in the EU, in the EEA. Well, family-run car dealerships lose Peugeot for a start. It's already happened. They've already, this particular Fish Brothers, for 54 years they've been a dealer for Stellantis, who owns Vauxhall and Peugeot and what have you. Well, this is Peugeot in this case, actually, to be fair. The bosses say the decision has been made by Stellantis restructuring, and the site is now basically their site is going to be used to sell used vehicles. That's vehicles that are already in the UK, so no import charges and stuff like that. They're looking at ways to save money. That's the way I see it, anyway. So a family-run car dealership has lost its Peugeot franchise after more than half a century as a result of the Stellantis restructuring. This is a response to everything that's been going on in the motor industry in the UK. If you think I'm wrong, well then say it in the comments. But that's the way I see it. It's how do they keep their businesses afloat? How is it worthwhile selling cars in the United Kingdom? They've got to find a way. So the cheapest way is to do it online. It just isn't it? Websites are cheap to make and to manage in comparison to a whole network of car dealers. And don't forget, these car dealers are all going to want their cut as well, you see, so they can cut that from the actual cost of the car. They'll sell more, possibly, and just deliver direct. Well, Fish Brothers in Swindon has represented the French brand since 1969, but will no longer be selling new Peugeot vehicles, and it said in the statement, because it's Stellantis restructuring. Instead, the showroom will sell used cars of a variety of makes, models, and meaning that the site will be able to remain open and the jobs will not be lost at this particular place. The bosses say their decision has come due to restructuring with Stellantis UK, but moved to reassure customers about the future. Well, only if you want to buy second hand, or I imagine they're going to have maintenance contracts and stuff like that. They'll still be doing all that, I'd have thought. They just can't sell new cars. Well, the dealership will continue to service Peugeot vehicles and will be retaining its workforce of fully trained Peugeot technicians, like I said. However, it will be unable to undertake any new car warranty work. Oh. Specifically related to the brand. Who is going to be undertaking that then? Well, that's yeah. So that's a bit of a bummer, isn't it, for the people who work there, because there is likely to be some job losses, because the people who are selling the cars, the salespeople, some are on commissions and what have you, they're likely to lose a job because, well, I suppose they'll be selling used cars instead, I suppose. They'll be half a dailies. That's what they'll be. They'll be half a dailies. But it's not just Stellantis. You've got Vauxhall. Fares for Vauxhall Luton van plants future due to Brexit. Long-term future of major vehicle plant and 1,500 jobs could be lost in a part of the Brexit Treaty. Part of the Brexit Treaty is not renegotiated. I talked about it before. And that's also to do about rules of origin, because that's a killer. It really is a killer. You end up pricing yourself. Well, not only pricing yourself, you get priced out of the market because everything becomes more expensive because of tariffs. At least 10%. If you say 10%, it's going to be 12, 15%. Cost of implementation and all that. So the Luton Vauxhall director, Mark Noble, said he was confident, however, that the massive challenges could be overcome. Well, obviously they have to show some positivity, otherwise the shares just plummet. Well, but he said that 70% of vans being exported into mainland Europe, tariffs risks its competitiveness. Obviously, the car's going to be more expensive. You see? Cars. We're talking about cars that leave in the United Kingdom's manufacturing plants and destined for the EU. Well, now we've got this thing in the way. It's called Brexit. And rules of origin and all that because of Brexit. Kemi Badadoc. Knock, whatever your name is. Flipping idiot. I'm sorry, but you are. Well, the government said it was working with the EU to find a solution to the issue. No, they're not. They're not. But it's a third country. It's the same rules that apply to all third countries. The Stellantis, which owns Vauxhall, Peugeot, Citroen and Fiat, warned that it could face tariffs of 10% on exports to the EU due to rules on where parts are being sourced from. And Mark Noble, who is also UK lead for manufacturing of Stellantis, said if 45% of the components of vans are not from the EU, then they would incur a tariff. Yeah, a 10% tariff. So from next year, 45% of the value of the electric car should originate in the UK or the EU to qualify for trade without tariffs. Regarding the EU, if you export stuff to the EU and a large proportion of stuff is from the EU, they can claim it back. It's not as simple as that. It's not automatic. They get charged it, the tariff, but then they can claim it back. I'm sure the process will be fairly seamless, I'd have thought. Well, he also told the BBC Politics East Luton Special the firm was working with the UK government to try and relax those rules. It's not down to the UK government to relax the rules. It's down to the EU to relax those rules because they are EU rules, not UK rules. The UK is just a beneficiary of them, if you can call it a benefit. It's a benefit of Brexit. Yeah. I'll tell you what it is going to do, though. It's going to increase the amount of potential workplaces in the EU because these companies will move abroad. They've already started. Even Ratcliffe, the guy with the Grenadier, he bought the franchise for, the right to use designs of the old Land Rover Defenders. And it's built as a Grenadier thing, also an electric version. Now, he said he was going to be building them in South Wales, didn't he? Doing Brexit, because he's a Brexiter, or Brexitter. He's one of them numpties. Well, he's persuaded a huge amount of people, we're going to get all these extra jobs. Then what did he do? He then buys a factory. I think it used to be Mercedes factories on the book. But I think they're Cologne. But anyway, Germany. Well, it feels on the borders of Germany and France, actually. But anyway, this bought a factory and started building them over there. Not in the UK. And then he got James Dyson Brexiter. And he shifted off. He even changed his residence to Singapore. He's come back again now, apparently. Only, technically, not necessarily physically. These people are hypocrites. And if you vote for Brexit because of those idiots, you should be really angry. Really, really angry. Lord Lamont, what have you, Brexiter, lives in France. They're all the flippin' same. Tell you to vote for Brexit. I'm alright, Jack. I've got citizenship. I've got the money, you see. These people are loaded. Absolutely loaded. Norman Lamont, who's the one? Lawson. Nigel Lawson. Is it Nigel Lawson or Norman Lamont? Oh, I can't remember anyway. Tell me, leave it in the comments down below. Lawson, it's Nigel Lawson's dad, isn't it? Yeah. Didn't one of them die recently? Anyway, I better carry on. My battery's about to fade. So, that's pretty much it, really, isn't it? We're doomed! Oh, people, really got to wake up, people. Really got to wake up. I hope you are now. I hope you're going to wake up and, well, you like to vote in Labour, I know. But I hope they wake up as well, because, as I can see, not much is going to... Well, a lot will change, obviously, but fiscal policy, don't sound like they said that's not going to change. Brexit, make Brexit work, so the pain there is not going to change, because there's no making Brexit work. We don't have the power anymore. We don't have a seat at the table. We can't change policy in the EU. We just don't have... No. It's just not going to happen. So, I think I've got to just dream on, maybe. Anyway, if you want to support the channel after that lovely positive note, you do that by just beat the like button if you like, but if not, there's also Patreon or buy us a coffee, and the links are down below. Also got memberships as well. But if you want to actually be part of our rewilding project here in France, we're planting trees here. We're planting trees on this piece of land over here, over there, and there, down into the valley and what have you. 1,000 trees on 2 hectares of land. There might be more trees actually, but we'll look at least 1,000. And also on the field over there as well. And the idea is for habitat for animals, basically. Because they need somewhere to live where they're not going to be disturbed. And, that'll be funny. We might be surrounded by trees, but the farmer comes along and chops them down with a woodpecker in it or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's... and we've actually managed to encourage woodpeckers here. We've now got great spotted woodpeckers and also the green ones. Can't remember what they're called now, but anyway, woodpeckers. Well, anyway, it's time for me to go, so I don't know. But there is links down below in the descriptions. A GoFundMe link. You can buy a tree, basically. We'll put a tree in the ground, and I'll put a sign with a tree with your name on, or memory of a loved one, or whatever you like, really. As long as it's not too long, Mad Monk 33. Anyway, it's time for me to go, so say ta-ta, So, ta-ta. Have a lovely day, and the sun is coming out.